Good evening, everyone. The meeting will come to order. Madam Clerk, would you please read the adequate notice of compliance statement?
Adequate notice of this meeting has been provided by the City Clerk's office in preparation of the council meeting notice dated January 28th, 2021, which was properly distributed and posted per statutory requirements.
Thank you. Madam Clerk, could we have a roll call, please?
Mr. Bowman.
Here.
Ms. Hairston.
Here.
Ms. Little. Mr. Naidu.
Here.
Mr. O'Sullivan.
Here.
Mr. Vartan.
Present.
President Fox.
Here.
And if you give me one moment, I will, Councilmember Little has joined.
Okay, terrific.
And Councilmember Little, calling roll.
I'm here. Thank you.
Thank you.
My link wasn't working. Thank you for resending it.
You're welcome.
Okay. So, all right, moving on. It's time for the Pledge of Allegiance. If you'd all join me in the pledge. I pledge allegiance
Allegiance
To the flag of the United States
of America, and to the republic
for
for
which
which
it
it
stands,
stands,
one
one
nation,
nation, under
under
God,
God, indivisible,
indivisible, with
with
liberty
liberty
and
and
justice for
for
all.
all.
All right, thank you. Moving on to the approval of minutes.
Madam President.
Wait, oh, sorry, I forgot. Closed session and explanatory notes. Go ahead, Madam Clerk.
Thank you. A closed session meeting as authorized by state statute was announced and held prior to the start of this meeting, and the known items for discussion were listed on the published closed session agenda. Please be advised that council meetings are broadcast live on Comcast Channel 36 and Verizon Channel 30, and rebroadcast on Thursdays and Saturdays on HTTV, Comcast 36, and Verizon 33. This meeting is also being streamed live through YouTube. To view this meeting via YouTube, please visit the city website at cityofsummit.org and click on the YouTube icon at the top of the homepage. While this council meeting is being broadcast live and members of the governing body are participating remotely, steps have been put in place to accommodate public input during this meeting through public notice dated January 28th, 2021, which provided information for those wishing to participate during public comment periods at this council meeting. The City Clerk's office also provided through public notice instructions on how the public could submit a question or comment by email or regular first-class mail in advance of this meeting. Public comment will be permitted at specified times as outlined in the agenda. Please refrain from commenting until solicited by the council president. For those members of the public who wish to make a comment during a designated public comment period, please use the raise hand feature and you will be called upon by the council president. Unless you are using an electronic device to follow the meeting agenda or need it for emergency professional contact purposes, please turn it off. Lastly, we ask that all participants remain on mute unless called upon to speak. Thank you.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. Moving on to approval of minutes. Do I have a motion to approve the organizational meeting minutes of January 5th, as well as the regular and closed session meeting minutes of January 19th?
So moved.
And do I have a second? All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Okay. And now moving on, we've got two reports. Madam Mayor.
Thank you, Council President. I'll be very brief tonight. Two things that are both serious. If you are eligible to receive the COVID-19 vaccine in phase 1B, please consider registering with Atlantic Health System for vaccinability alerts at www.atlantichealth.org. Once more vaccines become available, they will contact you to schedule an appointment. And the city hopes to have information to share about a vaccination location at the Summit Community Center very soon, possibly as early as next week. So we'll put all the information out as soon as we get it. The other thing I want to talk about is, sadly, one of our firefighters, Lon Mullen, he's been a career firefighter with our department for 26 years. In the middle of December of 2020, he was diagnosed with bile duct cancer, which is a very rare and aggressive cancer. He went into surgery at 9:30 this morning at Sloan Kettering in New York City, and at 5:30 came out of surgery. It apparently looked like it went well. He will stay overnight in recovery because the surgery was so long. On Sunday, members of the Summit Fire Department, Summit Police Department, Stewarts for a Fire, Police and DPW departments, Greenwich Police Department, and many friends drove to Lon's house, conducted a drive-by good luck parade. I would like us all to keep him in our prayers. And also, quite frankly, I'm sorry if I'm imposing, Chief, but Chief Evers has been a lifelong Lon since they were, I think, about 5. So our thoughts and prayers are with him and his family and all of his friends. That's all I have for tonight.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. And now on to the City Administrator's report. Michael?
Thank you, Council President. Good evening, everyone. So I'll just start with storm-related information. So according to our Department Director of Community Services, it looks like we had about approximately 20 inches of snow from Sunday to Tuesday. DPW crews reported in at 8 a.m. Sunday and are still working to salt and monitor roads and sidewalks until 9 p.m. this evening. Crews used about 250 tons of salt, 20,000 gallons of brine to treat roads before and during the storm. 2,000 gallons of liquid calcium was added to salt to melt snow, and 2,000 pounds of calcium was used on sidewalks and around city buildings. 60 Department of Public Works employees working in shifts over 60 hours got the job done. And we really thank the crews for their great work. As always, they probably need some sleep, but we're going to continue at this for the remainder of this week to get more cleanup done. And then just some other related items. Garbage collection will resume tomorrow, Wednesday, February 3rd, with the Wednesday route being collected in the morning. In the afternoon, crews will collect part of the Monday route. On Thursday, February 4th and Friday, February 5th, those routes will be collected in the morning, and remaining households for Monday and Tuesday will be collected in the afternoon, and then completed on Saturday and Sunday if necessary. Please clear a safe path for crews to access your garbage containers. If you have a safe path and feel your home was inadvertently skipped, please report it on the city website using the Report a Concern tool. The municipal transfer station will reopen tomorrow, Wednesday, February 3rd. Snow will be removed from the downtown overnight tonight and into Wednesday. And just lastly, I just implore residents to please clear their public sidewalks and don't throw snow into the sidewalk, into the street rather. It's a hazard. It's against city code. We just ask for your cooperation and just act responsibly. And that's all I have for this evening, Council President. Thank you.
Thank you. And now for the very brief Council President's report. The Summit Hometown Heroes program is starting in its 4th year, and we're seeking additional applicants. The annual program displays banners with the names and images and dates of service of active military and veterans on city streets from mid-May through mid-August. Applications are limited to the first 44 eligible applicants. The application deadline is March 31st. And anyone who's interested can go to the city website at cityofsummit.org for more information. And that's all I have. So we'll move on now to public comments. Do we have any members of the public who would like to comment? I see we've got Henry Bassman here, and he was going to talk to us about the 4 captains. So I'm going to go ahead and recognize you. Henry, are you there? You can go ahead and unmute, Henry.
Okay, now I am.
Hello.
How are you? That just killed my script. Let me pull it up.
Okay.
All right. What I wanted to talk about is For Chaplains Day. In this time of tragedy and discard, it's important to remember that we are a united people and to recognize those who sacrifice themselves in unity for our country. Since last February, more than 435,000 people have died from COVID-19 infections. That is more deaths in 1 year than the 400,000 graves in Arlington National Cemetery. 78 years ago, we were passing through a different tragedy. Today, we recognize 4 heroes from that tragedy of World War II. Tomorrow is For Chaplains Day. It marks the 78th anniversary of the sinking of the United States Army transport Dorchester. On that day in 1943, a torpedo struck the ship and it sunk in 20 minutes. What happened during those few minutes is the reason we remember this day. 4 first lieutenants, each one an Army chaplain, Methodist minister, the Reverend George L. Fox, Reform Rabbi Alexander D. Good, Roman Catholic priest, the Reverend John P. Washington, and Reformed Church in America minister, the Reverend Clark V. Poling, gave their lives to save others. They had met at Army Chaplain School at Harvard University, where they became friends as they prepared for service in the European theater, all sailing on board the Dorchester to report to their new assignments. The torpedo knocked out the Dorchester's electrical system, leaving the ship dark. Panic set in among the men on board, many of them trapped below decks. The chaplains sought to calm the men and organize an orderly evacuation of the ship and help guide wounded men to safety. As life jackets were passed out to the men, the supply ran out before each man had one. The chaplains removed their own life jackets and gave them to others. They helped as many men as they could into lifeboats, and they linked arms, saying prayers and singing hymns as they went down with the ship. Grady Clark, a survivor, said, "As I swam away from the ship, I looked back. The flares had lighted everything. The bow came up high and she slid under. The last thing I saw, the 4 chaplains were up there praying for the safety of the men. They had done everything they could. I did not see them again. They themselves did not have a chance without their life jackets." It's a moving experience and a moving story. And this photograph I took at Arlington a few years ago in the last line of graves, the most recent graves at Arlington. And it's a Jewish soldier and a Muslim soldier buried right next to each other, showing that in this country, religion does not influence citizenship. And these 2 men, who in other places in the world would be mortal enemies, lie side by side together forever.
Thank you so much for this moving presentation. I think it really is a reminder to all of us in these very difficult and divisive times. So I appreciate your coming once again this year to tell the story of the 4 chaplains. So with that, are there any other comments from members of the public? Okay, I'm going to close the public comment period and we will move on to resolutions. And the first resolutions are, we have 1 finance resolution. Councilmember Vartan.
Thank you, Council President. This resolution is number 7662. This resolution authorizes an increase in the legal services contract with Cleary, Jacoby, Alfieri, and Jacobs for 2020 in the amount of $20,000. The increase is needed because there was a need for additional legal services as a result of the pandemic. These costs have not yet been reimbursed to the city from CARES Act funding. I move to adopt this resolution.
Second.
Are there any comments from members of council? Any comments from members of the public? Okay, hearing none. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, the motion carries. So moving on to capital projects and community services. Councilmember Little, would you like to get started?
Sure. Thank you, Council President. The first capital projects resolution is number 7443. And it is to authorize execution of a shared service agreement with New Providence for the 2021-2022 wastewater operations and maintenance. This is an agreement with New Providence, a shared service agreement we've had for a number of years. It's working out very well. By law, the city is required to maintain a C3 operator's license to operate its sewer collection system. So for the past 9 years, we've been successfully contracting with the Borough of New Providence to provide that C3 license, as well as weekday inspections, weekend inspections, and some other services. So that has been a very successful shared service agreement that has benefited both communities, and we would like to continue it. And I ask that we approve this resolution.
I second it.
Are there any comments from members of council? Comments from members of the public? Okay, hearing none. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, motion carries. Moving on to capital projects number 2, Councilmember Little.
Thank you, Council President. Capital projects resolution 2 is number 7629, and this is to authorize the 2021 city forester services not to exceed $65,000. And this is to retain the services of John Linson and the Shade Tree Department LLC. He has been our city forester for over 15 years. He has done an excellent job, especially in this last year where we've put forth a new tree planting program, and we would like to retain his services for the coming year. And I ask that we approve this resolution.
Second it.
Any comments from members of council? Councilmember Bowman.
Sure. I think as a representative to the Shade Tree, we should thank you for passing him. I strongly encourage it. John has done a fantastic job, not only in identifying where to plant it, but working with Shade Tree and the Reed's Reed Arboretum on educating the Summit residents on proper care and maintenance of the trees. So I wholeheartedly endorse John for another year.
Thank you, Councilmember Bowman. Councilmember Naidoo.
Thank you, Council President. I think we've seen some folks comment about the cicadas that we're going to have this year or expected to have, and people should be aware that obviously as a forester, John is very well aware of this issue. He's also aware of the other kind of infestations we get, like the emerald borer and so forth, ash borer. And we plant trees, and he advises on the planting of trees based upon what is possible and in consistency with addressing these types of I guess harms or threats that are out there. And so when we plant trees, we take that very much into consideration.
Okay, thank you, Councilmember Naidoo. Any other comments from members of council?
May I?
Nora, yes, go ahead.
Thank you,
Madam Mayor.
No worries. We have a shade tree advisory group of volunteers, and John is very respectful of that group of volunteers, who sometimes can be very, very enthusiastic, and he's only here on every Thursday, but he works hard with them, and I don't think we can underestimate the good relationship he has with our volunteers. So I think that's another thing that it's not easy to manage volunteers, and I think he does a good job with that. So I just wanted to point that out.
Thank you, Mayor. And I think the tree planting this year with the hang tags for the for the residents to learn about their trees, and the door tags on how to take care of trees was a great addition that John worked very hard with the Shade Tree Committee to put together. And I think it's a great way to get people to appreciate the trees, which are really one of the things that makes Summit. We're a tree city and we're very proud of that. And we'll be talking about that in a little while. So Councilmember Little.
I just wanted to add that, the tree planting project is ongoing. So any homeowners who are interested in having a tree planted on their property can contact the city forester. There are a number of species that are available. He also does an excellent job of maintaining a variegated, different types of species within the city so that we have healthy populations of trees, and being careful to plant the appropriate trees in the appropriate places so they don't get in wires, or that they're appropriately placed in different areas of town. So if anyone is listening to this and would love to have a tree planted on their right of way in front of their property, we would love to assist you with that. So please contact the city and we will arrange that.
Okay. Any other comments? Councilmember Vartan. Well, this is a hot topic tonight.
I don't want to beat this to death. He's a great guy. He's a great guy. We should definitely pass the resolution. The one thing, sort of the opposite of what Councilwoman Little said, is people should be aware of the city's tree ordinance before removing trees as well. To make sure that they are in compliance with the things that protect our trees around the city as well. So, thank you.
Thank you, Councilmember Vartan. Any other comments? Any comments from members of the public? Okay, so hearing none, we're going to go ahead. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Moving on, capital projects number 3, Councilmember Little.
Thank you, Council President. This is resolution number 7626, which is to award the bid for the Butler Parkway Improvement Project in the amount of $707,456. This is an excellent competitive bid from a company that we have used in the past and been very happy with their work. Crossroads Paving had the low bid. So this was a very good bid based on the work involved. So we were very happy with this. This project is a large project. It involves not just milling and paving, but the addition of some sidewalks, narrowing of the road in order to do some traffic calming in that area, as well as some raised intersections and a flashing pedestrian beacon. So there's a lot involved in this. And I would like to thank Aaron Schrager and Rick Matthias, who did an excellent job meeting with the members of the community in Butler Parkway. We've had a very productive community meeting to go over all the specifics of this project, get their input. Some of the input was incorporated into the project. So it was just a very productive process all the way around. And I wanted to thank Aaron Schrager and his team for that. And this will be a great project for Summit. So I ask that we approve this resolution.
I second it.
Are there, okay, all those in favor? Oh, wait, any comments? Yeah. Councilmember Naidu.
Thank you, Council President. Yes, I joined Councilwoman Little in thanking Aaron and Rick for an excellent presentation that they did with the residents. They walked through it, they addressed the residents' concern, and then they amended the plan to reflect the residents' concern while maintaining the integrity of the plan that was proposed. And I can't remember, so I apologize if Councilwoman Little already said this, but there is monies that we are getting from the county with respect to this project. I think it's about $400,000, but Aaron can correct me if I get that wrong, towards offsetting the cost that the city would have to pay for this project.
Thank you, Councilmember Naidu. Councilmember Vartan, did you have a comment?
Yes, thank you, Council President. So 2 quick things. The first is, this is the second year that since passing the new citywide sidewalk policy, where we outlined where new sidewalks were needed, that it's the second year in a row that we're now actually adding some more sidewalks. So I think that's excellent that we're following up on that. And the second thing is, when we did that, we changed the policy so that residents would not be assessed for that cost. And so I am just, again, reminding people that that is a change I think we should all be thrilled with. So thank you.
Thank you, Councilmember Vartan. Any other comments from members of council? Comments from members of the public? Okay, hearing none. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. right, capital projects number 4, Councilmember Little.
Thank you. This resolution is number 7622, and this is to amend the professional services agreement for the Broad Street West redevelopment planning services to allow additional fees of the amount of 23,000 and change to our city planners, the planning services to topology. So you'll recall at the last council meeting, we approved topology services for phase 5. This goes back to phase 4. We had originally approved an amount for topology services. There was more progress done during that phase and been moving forward on the Broad Street West redevelopment project, which is great news for the city than was originally anticipated. So these services went above that amount that we had originally approved. And so this is the end of the year bookkeeping to approve the additional amounts that were needed for that. This amount is being approved by council, but we expect that this entire amount will be reimbursed through the escrows fund that is with the conditionally designated developer. So I ask that we approve this resolution.
Seconded.
Any comments from members of council? Any comments from members of the public? Okay, hearing no comments. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, motion carries, and we're on to capital projects number 5. Councilmember Little.
Thank you, Council President. This is number 7644, which is to authorize the city engineer to execute 2021 NJDEP, NJDOT, State of New Jersey, and Union County permit applications on behalf of the city. We've done this for a number of years where we have authorized the city engineers to sign these on behalf of the city. This prevents issues where a permit application comes in between council meetings or there's a delay in a project waiting for council approval. And instead, we're going to authorize the city engineer to execute these and to discuss them within the CAPS committee so that we're kept on top of these. But these are generally fairly routine applications, and it makes sense to have them executed by the city engineer. So I ask that we approve this resolution.
I seconded.
Any comments from members of council? Comments? And I don't think we have any members of the public right now. So if no one on council has a comment, we'll move on to vote. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, any opposed? Motion carries, and we're moving on to capital projects number 6. Councilmember Little.
Another tree resolution. This is number 7652, and this is to authorize submission of the Tree City USA recertification application and annual accomplishment report. As we discussed in the earlier resolution, Summit is a proud tree city and has been so certified in Tree City USA for over 25 years. So we are proud of our trees, and this is a resolution to apply for our recertification for our Tree City designation. I ask that we approve this resolution.
I second it.
Any comments from members of council? All right. So all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Capital projects number 7, Councilmember Little.
Thank you, Council President. This is number 7651, and this is to authorize temporary and extended closure of the section of Maple Street. As most residents know, we approved closing Maple Street for the spring, summer, and fall this year. It was widely successful, both with residents and with restaurants and business owners in the downtown, and enabled a lot of our restaurants to continue in their business and maintain this great outdoor atmosphere that a lot of residents responded really well to. We have been asked to request closure again of Maple Street. We are going to be, and this allows us to apply to the Department of Transportation and request closing of Maple Street from March to November of this coming year as well, to allow the restaurants to again operate in the outdoors and expand their outdoor seating areas. So I ask that we approve this resolution.
I second it.
Any comments from members of council? Councilmember Naidoo.
Thank you, Council President. I just wanted to also inform the rest of council, as one of the liaisons to the Summit Downtown Inc., that this was raised by the Summit Downtown Inc. board, and because they wanted to enthusiastically, I believe, support the idea of having this closure. They thought, as Councilwoman Little put it, and as our own feedback from residents, that this is something that residents found very appealing, and especially at this point in time when small businesses still struggle, with the COVID pandemic. We want to do everything that we can to help them out. So I enthusiastically support this this resolution.
Thank you. Any other comments? Council Member Hairston.
Thank you, Council President. I just want to echo thanks for moving forward with this endeavor. In my time on the council, this is the only thing I got a favorable email about, and it was not only from someone in town, but also out of town. So I thoroughly endorse this resolution.
Councilmember Vartan, did you also have a comment?
Yes, thank you, Council President. I thought, as one of the first municipalities, if not the first municipality, to seek state approval to close Maple Street this last year, that showed that Summit was very efficient in our ability to quickly pivot. I'm thrilled that we're going to do this again now, because whether the pandemic is mostly under control by the time we're eating outside again, or whether it's not, we're going to want to have considered it now rather than trying to scramble in the spring when we're hoping to get it done. So I think this is great, and I am in support of it.
Thank you, Councilmember Vartan. Mayor?
Obviously, I think this is a great idea. I've not heard anything negative about what we're doing. I want to thank everybody who works in the city because they worked so hard last year to get the permits in place, the DPW guys to help set up the barricades, to help set up the areas for outside dining. I'm so proud of our town and the people who work here, many of whom do not live here, but are very proud of their jobs and of their community that they serve. So I just want to thank everyone in the city who really worked hard last year. And this year, it's going to be a little easier, right? Because it's all kind of, they figured it out, they know what to do, it won't be as hard. But I cannot miss this opportunity to thank all of the people who work in this city who made this happen last year, will make it happen again this year. And we're very grateful.
Thank you. Councilmember Little.
Thank you. And Council Member Vartan and the mayor reminded me that, yes, I echo everything the mayor said. This was a Herculean effort to get this off the ground. But one of those key players was Mayor Radis, who, as Council Member Vartan said, we were the first municipality in the state to get approval from the DOT to do a permanent closure of one of our streets to do the restaurants. And that was largely due to her efforts in liaising with the governor's office and with the DOT, and her ability to push that through enabled this to happen. So I wanted to thank her as well.
And I wanted to also add that our partnership with SDI was also a big part of that. We worked very, very closely with Nancy Adams and with SDI on a lot of measures over the course of the past year to help businesses. And they were really instrumental in helping us connect with the businesses and in trying to find out what the businesses wanted and what would be most useful to them. And we really, benefited greatly from that strong working relationship. So I didn't want to leave out that as well. So it took a big team to get this done, but I think it was perhaps one of the only good things that came out of COVID. The only thing I can think of right now. So, yeah. So if no one else has any more comments about this, I'll call for a vote. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, motion carries. And we're moving on to the very last capital projects resolution. Councilmember Little.
Thank you, Council President. This is Resolution 7657, and this is to support Morris Habitat's grant application of $700,000 to finance the affordable housing project at 146 Morris Avenue, which is the former Italian American club property. As you know, Morris's Habitat for Humanity is doing a project there, which is supported by the city. This is just in support of their grant that they are requesting from the New Jersey Department of Community Affairs Affordable Housing Trust Fund program, and we wholeheartedly endorse this application on their behalf. So I ask that we approve this resolution.
I second it.
Any comments from members of council? Councilmember Vartan.
Thank you, Council President. This is a great grant opportunity to help get this project done. I just wanted to take the opportunity to say this project is happening in my neighborhood, and I'll be signing up with a group of my neighbors to volunteer and help with the construction. I think when we say a lot that we're very supportive of building affordable housing, we now get the opportunity to actually roll up our sleeves and make that happen. So I encourage everyone else to also volunteer and come down when that gets started. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilmember Vartan. Any other comments from members of council? Okay. So all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. And now we're moving on to law and labor. Councilmember Bowman.
Yes, thank you, Council President. We have one on the docket tonight is Law and Labor ID number 7661, which is certification of compliance with the United States Equal Employment Opportunity Commission's enforcement guidance on the consideration of arrest and conviction records in the employment decisions under Title VII of the Civil Rights Act of 1964. This has been an annual resolution since 2012 when the state has required that we submit this prior to submitting our annual budget. Basically what it's saying in a nutshell, in the 55 pages that we got, is individuals should be given consideration if they have, if they can do the job and there aren't any legal ramifications against them. People have had positions withheld from them because of an enforcement action of 30 years ago. Additionally, there are convictions that wouldn't hold up today. So I support this resolution.
And I second it.
Are there any comments from members of council? Are there any no comments from members of the public. If I have no comments, we'll go ahead and vote. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The motion carries. And remember, everyone needs to stop by City Hall to sign the actual physical certification, please. Okay, and we're moving on to one safety and health resolution. Councilmember Hairston.
Thank you, Council President Fox. I am reading resolution number 7645 to authorize a grant application submission to FEMA for a firefighters grant program. And this grant is in the amount of $37,216. And it is to request to fund the purchase of a new washer extractor and dryer unit, which will remove 99% of harmful toxins and carcinogens from firefighter turnout gear. This will reduce the risk of contamination from hazardous pollutants such as dust and ash to firefighters and the public. The washer dryer unit will also reduce mold and mildew growth in damp gear, ensuring the longest possible usable lifespan. And this grant is successful. It will fund 90% with a local share requirement of $3,721.63. So I move for this resolution to be approved.
I second.
Are there any comments from members of council?
I guess I have one quick one.
Go ahead, Councilmember Bowman.
Yeah. I totally understand this. I'm wondering, will this equipment be able to be relocated into the new firehouse when we build it? Do we know? or could it be considered for it?
Yes, yeah, that was thought out before we made the request. It is mobile, so if we do anticipate moving that equipment into the firehouse when the firehouse is up and running. So yes.
Perfect.
Good news. Thank you. Good thought, Councilmember Bowman. Any other questions, comments? Okay, hearing none. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. And now we have one resolution from Community Programs and Parking Services. Councilmember O'Sullivan.
Thank you, Council President. This is ID number 7678. Authorize the execution of an agreement with AHS Hospital Corporation, Overlook Medical Center, for use of Summit Community Center as a temporary COVID-19 vaccination location. This temporary use agreement is really good news. Overlook Hospital will have use of the Guida Gymnasium and parking facilities at the Summit Community Center. Part of the purpose and mission of our community center is to serve as an emergency shelter and, in extreme cases, a field hospital. We are currently in a pandemic emergency, and we need to get people vaccinated as quickly and safely as we can so that we can bring some normalcy back to our lives. The use of our community center by Overlook Hospital is for the sole purpose of vaccine distribution. It is entirely appropriate that we should enter into this agreement to benefit Summit residents and those in surrounding communities. Once Overlook Hospital has finished staging, they will have the capacity to vaccinate hundreds of people every day from the hours of 7:30 a.m. to 10 p.m. at night. The parameters I just mentioned are subject to the vaccine supply. If the supply is not here, there will be no reason to stay open more than 14 hours per day. If the supply is plentiful, they will be vaccinating people 7 days per week. This temporary use agreement runs until June 15th, 2021. And one more thing, I want to really thank Director Ozorowski and his staff because they continue to go above and beyond for all of us here in Summit. And I move this resolution.
And I very enthusiastically second this.
Any comments from members of council? Councilmember Hairston?
Thank you, Council President Fox. I really want to just applaud our city administrator, Michael Rogers, for really working very hard to make sure the city of Summit could have a very viable option and for residents to be thought after. I mean, he just did an amazing job, and I really want to make sure we recognize you for that, Administrator Rogers. Thank you.
I heartily agree. Councilmember Vartan?
Thank you, Council President. So 3 things. First is thank you very much, especially to Michael Rogers and Mark Ozorowski for getting this done. My understanding is also there's going to be no cost to the city, so that's excellent. The second thing is as the Housing Authority liaison, we've been informed that we'll be blocking out some time for the members of the Housing Authority who are within the eligible phase group to get their vaccines, but who may not have access because of lack of transportation or lack of access to booking an appointment through the website. So that is excellent, and I think it's a great way that we are making sure that those who are especially vulnerable are going to have access to it. And then the third thing is I, as a volunteer EMT, have received my first vaccine dose. I'm getting my second dose tomorrow morning, and I would encourage everyone who has access to it to get it as quickly as possible. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilmember Vartan. Any other comments from members of council? Mayor, go ahead.
Thank you very much, Council President. So I just want to thank all the people that were forward thinking in prior years. And I'm going back to councils before I was even mayor, who thought about having this community center. Now, did any of them think that we would need the community center for vaccinations, for anything that we're doing right now? No, they didn't, of course. You need to be forward thinking. They had the courage to be forward thinking. And I am so proud of the people that have served our community for so many years. Not everybody agrees with everything that's been done, but building that community center was the right thing to do. Did it fulfill its intended purpose in 2020? No, but it fulfilled a very different purpose and served our community. It's a community center. And here we are again, heading into 2021, and we're serving our community because people had the courage of their convictions, and the community helped raise the money to do what we needed to do for that building. So of course, I'm very grateful to the folks that work there. Mark Ozrowski and his entire team are amazing. But I'm also going to give a shout out to prior mayors and councils who did what they needed to do to try to get this going. So that's all I have to say.
Okay, thank you. Any other comments? Okay, hearing none. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. And now we're moving on to the consent agenda. Generally, we take all these items as a whole and vote on them unless anyone wants to break any items out. So hearing nothing of the sort, do I have a motion on the consent agenda?
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Now we're moving on to council members' comments and new business. And I know that Councilmember Bowman has some business to discuss. So I'm going to turn it over to you, Councilmember Bowman.
You sure no one else has anything they want to say first? Okay, here we go. Good evening, citizens of Summit. I have submitted my resignation from the Summit Common Council effective midnight tonight. The pandemic has provided challenges, opportunities, and a time for our family to reflect on professional and personal goals. With that in mind, we have made the decision to relocate to the Dallas-Fort Worth area, where my wife, Karen, has traveled weekly over the last 4 years. We're going to miss Summit. During our time here, we made lifetime of dear friends, memorable acquaintances, and most importantly, memories. I would like to take this time to thank Mayor Radis and the 13 council members I've served with during my 4 years. 13, that's hard to believe. These elected officers undertake the great responsibility to represent the community and to provide oversight and guide city staff as they operate the city of Summit. I have done my best to serve the community in a positive fashion. Summit is a wonderful town, and we are fortunate to serve the community together with the best city staff led by our city administrator, Rogers, the chiefs and directors. I've been fortunate to work closely with this group of professionals who take great pride in the work for the city of Summit. This sort of pride is what distinguishes Summit. Multiple times while wearing a Summit t-shirt outside the area, people approach us and comment on what a great community Summit is. I share this comment, but no less special occurrence because Summit is a unique town that does much to be proud of. We work together. We make it a town that so many have been drawn to over the years. Summit is a diverse community that has long led. The Summit pride that is represented in many ways, volunteering, supporting kids' activities, working with other organizations in our town to make it a place of pride is not represented by any one group. We all work together to make Summit a community that wears our pride on our sleeves every day. I am leaving at a time when there's great potential for Summit. Broad Street West redevelopment, a new firehouse, the park line, and many more are all in the early stages. When we return to visit our many friends, and we will return, we look forward to being amazed at the progress our community makes while still maintaining that special Summit feeling. It has been with a tremendous privilege to serve on Common Council, and tonight I want to express for one final time my gratitude to friends and neighbors across our city for granting me this honor. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilmember Bowman. I'm going to open it up for any members of council who'd like to say something. Councilmember Little.
Thank you, Council President. I had the great pleasure of working with Steve on the Finance Committee for 2 years when I was chair. And I wanted to, he was just such a great voice on the Finance Committee, and I really valued his financial acumen and his experience. He's always been he's always been a great voice and brought a great point of view to all of our discussions in a very respectful way, and worked well with all of us. And I really will miss you, Steve, and your voice and your perspective. So we wish you all the best luck. And we also worked on law and labor too. So we had 1 year where we were paired up. So I really appreciated all the time that, and all the issues that we worked through together. So we wish you guys all the luck.
Thank you, Councilmember Little. I think I saw Mayor Radis' hand up.
And again, the most famous phrase in 2020 is "you're on mute." Steve, I am so happy for you and your family because I think it's a really good choice for you guys. However, Texas's gain is Summit's serious loss. You've not lived in Summit for very long, but you've made quite a great impression. I am grateful for your service on council and for your citizenship in our community. You didn't just move into town and buy a house. You wove yourself into the fabric of our community. And that takes effort and work. And it's not just walking your dog or going to the Y, it's talking to people and imbuing yourself with people in your community. And that's what Summit's about. And you got it right away. You understood it right away. And that's what I think has made you be an exemplary council person. I have enjoyed working with you on council. I've always been able to count on your calm demeanor and your wise insights and your willingness to roll up your sleeves and do the hard work, whether it's a small job or a big job, has really been beneficial to all of us. You've helped make Summit a better town. I'm going to miss you. Your sense of humor is really endearing. We all know we're in a town, a community, a world of uncivil, at times, discourse. That's never been an issue. You're a gentleman. You're kind. You're wise. You're a great dad. How many cheer things have you been to? I don't know. But we wish you all the best, and we will miss you. And when you come back, please spend some time with us.
So moving on, I see that Councilmember O'Sullivan has his hand up.
Thank you, Council President. Steve, I want to thank you for your service, for your dedication to Summit. I personally envision the past year much differently than it turned out. Because of the pandemic, we weren't able to connect in a more personal way. Before your plans to move to Texas were announced, you and I were paired up on law and labor, and I was really looking forward to working with you, getting to know you, and leaning on you for your knowledge and experience. And I just want to wish you and your family continued success and happiness in Texas. Summit is going to miss you. Thank you, Steve.
Okay, Councilmember Hairston.
Councilmember Bowman and Law and Labor Chair, I just want to thank you for being the most awesome committee leader in running a meeting so efficiently and welcoming a newbie on board with very complex things that we were talking about, and that sense of humor of yours making it a pleasant meeting with the lawyers. So thank you. All the best to you and your family in Texas.
Councilmember Vartan.
Thank you, Council President. I've said before, I think there's only really two types of politicians. Those who want to do something and those who want to be somebody. I think I can say confidently that Steve Bowman has been the kind of politician who ran and served on this council, not for himself, but to make this a better place to live for our neighbors. Here's how I know that. 5 years ago, Steve and I ran against each other. Through the course of that campaign, we both shared a baseline understanding of the things that were true. We knocked on doors, attended community events and houses of worship. We both participated in a debate. We answered questions honestly, agreed on some things, and disagreed on lots of other things. Because of the way that we conducted ourselves, we never gave any reason to question each other's motivation for running. We never attacked each other personally. Instead, what we offered to the people of Summit was a choice between two people with different experiences, different opinions, and different views about the roles of government and the issues of the day. Though I was obviously disappointed that I did not win, I am thankful to Steve because I believe strongly that that is the kind of campaign that the people of Summit deserve. Campaigning so respectfully made it so that once I did have the honor and privilege to join Steve here on council, we had no ill will toward each other. We have worked together, and I believe we have achieved our common goals of making Summit a little bit better. I've especially enjoyed learning from him and working closely with him on the finance committee last year. In what was arguably the toughest budget year we've ever had, it was critical that Steve and I could learn together and work together on that. I'll close simply by saying this. The City of Summit is better for having had Steve Bowman serve on council. Steve, I wish you and your family the very best in Texas and beyond, and thank you for everything.
Councilmember Naidoo.
Thank you, Council President. So, Steve, you and I and the mayor started a long time ago before some of the other folks that are. So you're leaving means there's one less of the old folks here on council, as it were. So I could speak about the fact of even before going on council, you served on the zoning board, and then you came on as the mayor said, were involved in the community, ran and joined council, were part of the finance committee, not only in that role, but in your role as liaison to the Shade Tree, to SDI. You took your job seriously, you served the people well, you took things seriously, and you worked in a collegial manner. Those things all have benefited the residents of this town immensely, and you have made a profound impact in the direction of this city for the better. And when you go to Texas, you should walk away knowing that your time here made a difference in the lives of thousands of people. But I want to say something about a personal nature, which is that a lot of times people hear about the divisiveness and hear about the animosity that goes on in politics. But I would like to share with everyone, and I think most of the people here on council know, that others may not know, that when our good friend Matt Gould, and Feral Oak council member, passed away, it was Steve Bowman who offered and opened his house to host the rest of us at his house. And when we walked in, Steve had a spread of food that could feed, I don't know, dozens of people. So I don't know who he was thinking, but it was such a generous gesture and showing the collegiality and the camaraderie that we have here together that will certainly be missed when you are gone. So I wish you, your family, all the best in Texas, and Godspeed. Thank you.
Michael?
So I just wanted to make sure Councilman had my home address for the truckload of wine that needs to be delivered for our friendly gentleman bets over the years. So, I can send that to you in an email if you don't mind. Councilman, I've shared my thoughts privately with you. I just want to say a few things publicly. It's been a wonderful 4 years serving with you. We've served on various committees throughout the years. You've been great person to certainly share thoughts on issues that it helped me do my job better, and I hope to help you serve better as an elected official. I'm here to work for everyone, particularly this council, and I do hope that that you feel that I provided you good counsel over the years, but it was a real pleasure working with you, and I will miss you, and I wish you and your family great success and wonderful experiences in Texas. We will miss you, and please be sure to look me up when you come back to Summit to visit friends. Thank you, Council.
Thank you. So, Michael, I just want to know, do you have an over/under on this meeting tonight?
Well, I think the councilman lost another bet to me, so yeah. Yeah.
All right. So,
Wait,
Steve,
you took over?
No, I still have to talk. I think, did I get everyone else who wanted to say something?
Is passed,
Okay.
Councilman, so yes.
Okay. So wait, if I keep talking, who wins the one?
No, we're
okay.
good.
I'm cold. I'm still in my.
Okay. All right, I'll keep it,
Just
I'll
another
make it quick.
case to add to the chart.
Okay, Mayor, I'll make it quick. So, Steve, I just wanted to thank you for your service to Summit. A lot of what I had intended to say has been said by others, so I don't want to repeat myself. But as many of our colleagues have pointed out, one of the things that makes Summit so special, and this council so special, is that we all do work together towards a common purpose, and that is to do what's best for Summit and its residents. And we may at times disagree on details or how to accomplish that, but one thing that I think we all put in front of everything else is what's best for Summit. And I've, over the 3 years that I've worked with you, I feel that, we don't always agree on everything, but I've always felt that you cared and that was the common, the common thing that we could look back on. And that was the touchstone of whatever discussions we were having. I was very fortunate as a first-year council member to be on the old Public Works Committee with you, where I learned a lot. And I also enjoyed, the 2 years that we sat next to each other on the dais and, those lifesavers being passed back and forth. But I appreciated how you approached issues in committee and the thoughtful and measured way that you conducted yourself and the decision making and that you conducted. So you and I've spoken a little bit about this, how this past year has been a challenge, and it's been a year where there's been a lot of work and a lot of things that we've never done before, and at the same time, very little of the camaraderie that usually comes with serving on council. And for that, I am really sorry that we haven't had a year where we've been able to spend more time together as a council. I'm also sorry that we can't do an in-person send-off for you, but when you do come back, hopefully the pandemic will be over and we'll be able to do that, and maybe with that truckload of wine that Michael has. But you will be glad to know that you still get your chair, not obviously over the Zoom call, but the clerk's office will be getting in touch with you on details for that. So I want to thank you for everything you've done for the city, and I wish you, Karen and Brianne, all the best in Texas, and we'll miss you.
Well, thank you, everybody, for those kind words. And, the city's in good hands. The city's in good hands. So,
well, thank you.
Good night, everybody. I mean, it's
Standing up.
Yep. Okay. I guess we still have to, is there any other business that anyone wants to finish off with? I guess hearing none, we'll go, I guess I'll ask for a motion to adjourn.
And can we please, since we don't have a meeting where we can give a chair, can we all stand up for a standing O?
Sure. Yeah.
Yeah, but but we're all muted. This is a very sad standing ovation.
Oh, I didn't mute. It's silly to mute. How can he hear anything? Come on.
Exactly. No standing O with a mute.
I'm
all
here.
right.
Steve, we love you, Steve.
Best wishes, Steve.
Thank you, everybody.
Yep, don't be a stranger.
Well, I'll have to visit Maple Street next time we're in town.
Yeah, you know
There
what?
you go.
We'll have an outdoor dinner on Maple Street.
There you go.
There we go. Perfect. And you're leaving March 5th?
March 2nd.
March 2nd.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, good luck.
Thank you very much.
Give you all the best. A move like this is no small thing. So God bless.
All right.
Yep.
Life-changing.
It is.
All right.
Okay.
All right. So with that, do I have a motion to adjourn?
Still moved.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Hi.
Aye, Steve.
Wear your mask and test.
Steve.
Yes, good work,
Bye,
everybody.
Good night. Good luck.
Good luck, Steve.
Thank you.